Greetings all and welcome back to Math in Anger. This is episode 3. We're still looking at parts of 1 and how we write them. And in this episode, we're looking specifically at how we write parts of 1 using the decimal number system. If you don't know what the decimal number system is, please guys, I will refer you back to episode 3. I explained the basics of the decimal number system there. I explained why it is that each column becomes 10 times greater. If you don't follow these episodes in sequence, you will fall behind. Please do not try to jump into the middle of this. For the rest of us that have actually gone through these episodes, you will see. I will now introduce the concept of the decimal point. Right? On the right-hand side of the decimal point, we use the decimal system exactly as I taught you in episode 3. This is where our ones, our tens, our hundreds, our thousands, our 10,000s, and so forth get written. On the right-hand side of the decimal point, we have our parts of 1, our tenths, our 100ths, our 1000ths, our 10,000ths. Yeah, it's a bit of a pain to pronounce, but if I go and do something like this for you, 0, 3, 2, 4, what that means is I have 3 of these, 3 tenths, two of these, that's 100ths, and 4 of these, 1000ths. And again, as I showed you in episode 3, if you count these together, you have 4 1000ths. And these, that's 2 100ths and 3 tenths. And you can go and write that as 324 1000ths. Right? Yeah. On this side, each column becomes 10 times greater. On that side, each column becomes 10 times smaller. Again, this is because we use 10 digits in the decimal number system. Guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, this was covered in episode 2 and 3. Please go look. Right. There is a bit of a problem with the decimal number system when we use it this way. The problem is not you. The problem is that there is a bit of an issue with international standards. If you live in a country like South Africa, the decimal point is not a point, it is a comma. Yeah, you get taught to write numbers this way. Some countries, they say, no, we use a comma. Other countries, like the United States, say, no, we use a decimal point. Some engineering documentation suggests use the comma and use spaces in order to separate your thousands. Other in software engineering, they say use a decimal point and use commas to separate your thousands. Please, guys, be aware of what it is that your examiner expects you to do. Again, this is not a you problem. This is a problem with international standards. Okay? The people who decide how we write mathematics have issues. It's not a you. It's not a you problem. It's a them problem. Okay. Um, then with respect to decimal numbers, uh, there is the concept of a repeating decimal point. That happens when you have something like 1/3, right? That would be 0.3333333, and it carries on forever. That is why it's called a repeating decimal number. There we get taught two different ways that I know of in order to write this. Instead of trying to write all those threes forever and ever, what you do is you put a dot above the number that above the digit that repeats forever. In other countries, in some countries, that is they don't teach you using a dot. They teach you to use a line above the digit. Okay, be aware there are two different ways that we get taught in order to do that. Again, it's not a you problem, it's not a me problem, it's an international standards problem. Right. Um, again, that's those who decide how we write values need to sort this out. It's not you being dumb. It is the way we write it. Okay. Uh, please keep this concept of a repeating decimal point in mind. We will be discussing it in future. It becomes kind of important. Okay. But other than that, that's about as much as I can say about parts of one using the decimal number system. I will see you in the next episode. Ciao.